So did Jerome Powell just cancel this crypto bull run? Are we still going to see a strategic national Bitcoin reserve? It's been a very bloody 24 hours in the crypto market. Other markets as well. Wall Street, stocks, they've been suffering. They've been bleeding heavily. So we had a tough day, but now is definitely not the time to panic. We should remind ourselves that President-elect Donald Trump probably has a different plan.
We're going to do something great with crypto.
In all likelihood, he may not appoint Jerome Powell as the chair of the Federal Reserve.
Would you reappoint Jay Powell?
No, I wouldn't do that.
You wouldn't reappoint him?
And for the most part, that's because Powell doesn't really fit in conveniently into Trump's crypto plans, more broadly speaking. So yes, on the one hand, we saw a lot of panic selling yesterday and a lot of carnage in the market. But the silver lining in any such situation is that we have a temporary dip opportunity. So which altcoins are going to recover the fastest from this dip? And which ones are we scooping up on sale as quickly as possible while we still can? Welcome to the channel. My name is Maddie and this is Altcoin Buzz. All the best of luck if you choose to invest. If you're new to the space, maybe this is one of your first crashes that you're experiencing. That's cool. Welcome aboard. Don't take it all that seriously. These things happen. It's a volatile space. And if you're involved, whether you're a newbie or a veteran, I wish you very, very well. But just remember, whatever my opinions may be, I'm happy to share them with you, but I am not a financial or investment advisor. And of course, that means by extension that this video is not official financial or investment advice. So let's back it up a little bit. Let's ask the question why we had this market correction in the first place. If you're catching up and you're seeing the numbers today, it may not be entirely obvious, but the FOMC, that's the Federal Open Market Committee, really is only one of the reasons that we've been seeing this market carnage. And look, in all fairness, the market was also a little bit overheated. When that's the case, people take profits just naturally and you see some sell-off. So combination of things. And so like most problems in the real world, this one was caused by a couple of different variables. This is a multivariate situation. Whatever the case may be, I don't want to overanalyze here. The point is that we have this brief window of opportunity. And again, like I said, if you're new to this space, this is pretty normal. This is an ultra volatile sector. But these little temporary market crashes give us an opportunity to fill up on altcoins, maybe ones that we've been eyeing that just kind of get dragged down with the rest of the market really through no fault of their own. For context, though, I do want to set the stage a little bit and talk about the Federal Reserve. It's important here to understand because they were part of this. The Fed cannot hold Bitcoin. You may or may not know that, but the U.S. Treasury can. The Federal Reserve cannot.
We're not allowed to own Bitcoin.
We're going to come to this and discuss it a little bit more in a second. But one thing that Powell did achieve is the fact that people started to panic, whether or not that was his intention. And if you think about it, that's only 2 weeks after he said that Bitcoin is like digital gold. So we're kind of seeing statements on both end of the hype spectrum here. Positive statements, a lot more fuddy statements, fear, uncertainty, doubt. But let's take a closer look at what happened with the FOMC specifically. For starters, the Federal Reserve did not pivot on their balance sheet yet. This kind of pivot is actually pretty important for financial markets, and it shows a notable change in the monetary policy of the Fed. So for example, it influences things like interest rates, stock prices, and by extension, of course, economic growth. And as you've probably heard by now, the Fed slashed the benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points. And if I'm going to be honest, this wasn't particularly surprising for anybody. It was kind of anticipated. Powell also mentions slow rate cuts in 2025. And on the surface, this seems like it's good news, but the reality is this is why over $1.5 trillion in value disappeared pretty much overnight. Generally speaking, lower interest rates mean that borrowing costs go down. And that, of course, is bullish for so-called risk-on investments, so things like stocks, Bitcoin, and crypto, of course. And so slowing down the pace and the number of rate cuts now looks less bullish for the market compared to other low-risk investments. And thus, panic selling, right? It's a pretty standard formula. That being said, though, I do want to emphasize that the effect here is probably short-lived. Now, I talked about an overheated market a moment ago. Another way to look at this is kind of like a shakeout. I want to emphasize again that this really is the time to hodl, though. Hold on for dear life, HODL. This is not the moment to panic sell. You need to instead have diamond hands in these kinds of market conditions because this is just going to be an ephemeral moment that passes us by. those in the know are buying. And I'm talking about smart money here. Just one example we can see in the form of BlackRock. They bought $132 million more worth of Ethereum. Another example is Trump's World Liberty Fi, WLFI. They bought as well. This time they bought more Athena, ticker ENA, to the tune of $250,000. And while we're talking about World Liberty, they're getting pretty deep into DeFi. That's where our first coin on this list is from, the world of DeFi. And at number one here, the altcoin that we're scooping up is Chainlink, ticker LINK. Link has a lot going on for itself as a project. As you probably know, it's the leader in the Oracle sector, which is one of the less sexy sectors in cryptocurrency, admittedly. But it's all about infrastructure and very important stuff, the fabric of what holds this space together. And Trump's WLFI bought $2 million worth of Link. DeFi as a space is also heating up pretty nicely again. It's showing lots of strength in the market. And really every DeFi protocol at the end of the day needs an Oracle. For the most part, projects choose Chainlink. And look, I know it's not fun to lose 5%, 10%, 15%, sometimes more overnight. That feels catastrophic. But when in doubt, zoom out. We're looking at the max chart here for Bitcoin BTC. It's still above $100,000 at the time of this recording, about 6% away from its very recent all-time high. When you zoom out at this macro level, sort of the 40,000 foot view, you can't even see the recent dip that we've experienced. So we have to keep in context and remember all the progress that we've made. Rate cuts are happening pretty much all over the world, not only in the US. This is positive news, as I mentioned before. And that point leads me to the second altcoin that we're looking at today. Rate cuts are great for risk-taking projects like Solana, ticker SOL, S-O-L. Now, Solana has been weaker than usual recently. However, I fully expect this to change. Just as one example here, looking at some metrics, during November, 55% of all crypto users in the world were on the Solana network. Over half of all crypto users. And Solana is more than just the home of the meme coin casino, for sure. But if you like meme coins and you're a fan of them, you think you're going to continue to grow, then Sol certainly is the place to be. Look, low rates are great for investing in projects like Sol. And like I said, all indications point to the fact that this dip is going to be temporary. There's even already a proposal for a Bitcoin reserve as an executive order. If Trump really is behind this kind of thing, he only needs to sign it come January. So again, we're looking here at a temporary blip. As far as opportunities when buying on the dip, you got to look at high conviction projects. So Chainlink is one, Solana is one, and another one, and the third altcoin on our list for today is SUI. SUI is the token. And if you've been following, then you know that this project's recent price development has been nothing short of remarkable. And in all likelihood, there's a lot more of that on the way once this dip kind of gets behind us, once the dust settles. And I say that because what's going to keep people buying SUI, what's going to keep them interested in SUI for a long time, not only is the growth of its ecosystem, but there are all kinds of lucrative airdrops. So projects that we've covered like Bluefin, SuiLend, Walrus, all of that's going on now. It's keeping people actively buying SUI, and I do expect that to continue for some time. Like I said, if you're new to the space, maybe you've developed a portfolio, it's grown, you've been happy with that growth, and all of a sudden, it's taken a massive hit. Just don't be dismayed. This is very much par for the course. Understand that the way up is jagged. It's not a straight line. It's a volatile, albeit ultimately upward trajectory. So basically, enjoy the ride. Don't get too stressed out. And when possible, take advantage of these kinds of dips. Look at them as opportunities.